All right, peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum, shalom. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live and we are direct. And our topic tonight, what are the steps to awaken Black America to war? What are the steps to awaken Black America to war? And the reason why this is the subject for tonight is because it seems to me that Black people are sleeping in a time where they're supposed to be awake. This is a very dangerous time to be caught asleep. So we're going to go over a few videos, a few sayings, and then we're going to look into them and see exactly what they are all about. I want to take this time to welcome Deacon of Reality to the program. Peace and blessings, Deacon. Twin Pyramid to the program. Peace and blessings, Twin. And we have our illustrious panel, Dr. James Jones, Sister Cassie, Brother Isaiah. And again, our topic tonight, what are the steps to awaken Black America to war? It has been well established that we have said that you have to fight on each and every front. You cannot allow yourself not to fight on each and every front. Doc has said many times before, it takes an institution to take down an institution. They have called America, if you watch the different things that's out there today, they call America an empire. But America doesn't call herself an empire. So we're going to get into that. What do they mean when they say America is an empire versus America being a republic, a democratic republic? But we're going to get into all of those things. And hopefully by the end of the program, we've put steps together to show how to awaken Black America to war. So we're going to start with the first thing of America being an empire. Doc, when you hear that, what are they saying when they're saying that America is an empire? What does that really mean?
Well, in many ways, they're issuing a commentary about America being the modern day Rome, an empire, a force that the sun never sets upon. You know, you look at the expansiveness of American military might. You look at the fact that we're still in Korea after the Korean War, as far away as long ago as that was. We're still in Northern Africa. You know, without any really active hot war. You definitely have a strategic war going on. So in many ways, you're talking, what those people are talking about is quite simply that America is the modern day Rome, something that is expansive, something that is powerful, something that no one can really reasonably rely upon. No one would bet on America falling when it comes to military might and what have you. But the historical record shows us that she will fall just as Rome fell. We just really don't know how.
Awesome. Sister Cassie, what about you? What do you, when you hear the word empire, what brings to your mind thinking of America?
Big dog. America thinks it's the big dog. And to me, that's what it symbolizes, being the biggest and the baddest, thinking that it will never fall, but it will, and it shall very soon.
Excellent. So I want to welcome Brother Roy to the program. Big Brother Roy, peace and blessings, big bro. Glad to see you here. Do everybody on the panel agree with, and I don't know who was the originator of saying this, but it was said that America will never fall by an outside force. It would always be an inside force. Do y'all two agree with that saying?
That was Abe Lincoln.
Oh, okay. Abe Lincoln said that. And do you agree with that, Doc?
Well, certainly, America will not fall from an external aggressor. She'll fall from inside. Same way with Rome. Same way with any other empire. It's the difference between being defeated and losing. If we're talking about sports and what have you, um, very few champions are defeated. Mike Tyson, when he fought Buster Douglas, was not defeated. Mike lost. He wasn't prepared. His haughtiness, his overconfidence, his arrogance allowed for cracks in what he brought as far as his program and in his delivery of that program. America will be the exact same. There's no real explanation for militarily America falling. America militarily is far, far and away and above anyone else. No one has ever seen it. Rome could not defeat the United States of America. There is no empire that has ever existed that could have brought the U.S. down in a face-to-face fight. So you got to start looking at some other things, and those other things are the absence of an education, the slow erosion of nationalism, the absence of patriotism for significant populations, significant parts of our populace. You cannot tell me that people of color are very patriotic in regards to this nation. America is like every other empire that falls from within. They're no longer running. They may be a V16, but they're only using about 4 to 5 cylinders trying to stay ahead because there's something endemic to such might and such power that the administrators of such might and power tend to take more than their fair share of what is due to them. And that's what Lincoln is talking about. Lincoln is saying, no one's going to beat you head up if you're at your best. But what is going to happen is that there's going to be a moral decay, a decay of thoughts, a decay of loyalty and feelings and affinity that's going to weaken you to the point that now you're susceptible. And you've seen this if you just look at it economically for the U.S., that the U.S. is in debt. Why is the U.S. in debt? There's no real reason for the U.S. The biggest economic might since World War One, since the end of World War One, to be in this financial state right now. But an absence of priorities, greed, lust, sloth have all led to it being set up, weakened, and set up to fall from within. And I yield, brother.
Mm. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, Sister Cassie, what about you? Do you agree with Abraham Lincoln that no outside force will make America fall? It will be an inside force.
You know what? I used to believe that, but until now, when I see America allowing anybody and everybody in this country right now, I believe that we have sleeper cells here, and I believe that America is just being careless right now, and we are not patrolling the borders like we should. And with that being said, when you're an accursed nation, which is showing signs of being cursed now, you can't beat God. You can't beat the universe. You can't beat Allah, whoever you call him. You can't beat him. When it's your time to fall, you're going to fall. And I believe it's going to be from the outside. I believe in Russia and China. I believe that they're already here. I believe that all the immigrants coming here, when we seen the young man that came on the front of the camera nationwide and told us, when the reporter asked, what are you doing here? And they asked, and he said, you'll find out. I believe that right there was somebody that was coming in from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So I do believe that it's going to be from the outside forces.
Interesting, interesting. All right. We're going to look at a quote by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and get y'all feeling on this. Okay, so this first one that I want us to look at by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, ignorance always needs a teacher. And if you reject the teacher, you will remain in ignorance. And if you remain in ignorance, you become a part of the tool that the devil plays with to facilitate his will. Doc, what does that mean to you?
It's a longer way of saying, and you've heard me say this on this space several times, of what Grand Verbalizer Funkin' Lesson Brother Jay said from X-Clan fame, where he says quite simply, ignorance is not a trend. Um, if you have one generation that's going to be ignorant to, let's even say there's a family recipe that dear grandma made. Might be, how she made her sweet potato pie, might be collard greens or whatever it is. Well, let one generation of individuals not learn that family secret. It's gone forever. So the only thing that is going to fight ignorance is going to be a suitable teacher. And if you reject that suitable teacher, you're going to remain in ignorance, and you're no longer going to be following the traditional ways that are informed by the past, informed by a historical basis. It's just not going to happen for you. So, in saying that, I believe Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is absolutely correct, because once that ignorance sets in on you, and you look at America right now, the infighting that is occurring within this nation from not only its citizens. We've always had a selfish white populace that felt as if they should be in control of all of our political economic resources, that they should get the lion's share of it. In many ways, they look at it, consider it, and it's coming out of the James Monroe position of manifest destiny. They look at it from a position that says, quite simply, this is our birthright.
Mm.
Not only do you have citizens fighting about this now, you also have another factor that is involved in this battle, and it is your very politicians who are sitting up hopelessly divided, and their position, their posture, their viewpoint, their votes, their leadership is not informed by what's best for the nation, therefore best for the people. It's more informed by what is ideologically best for their side. And they've proven over and over and over again that recently they've proven it, that there is no budging from that it is not only party first, it is ideology first. That's how you end up with a Republican Party that is itself divided and voting against things that would seemingly be positive for the nation. It's how you end up with a Democratic Party that holds the party line, and is in many ways trying to take that position of being, terrorizing and having a tyrannical reign over the political process. So, yeah, until you get somebody that can come in and destroy that, you're in trouble. And I yield, brother.
Mm. So, Doc, let me ask you this: do you believe that America is being dumbed down? The American citizens, or maybe I shouldn't say American citizens, but the school children are being dumbed down on purpose. And we talked about it before about cities with children that's graduating and can't even read what their diploma says. Um, you got all of this influx of charter schools and changing this and changing that. Back when we were going to school, we had to learn how to write in cursive. That's gone. We have technology where we send text messages and we don't text and using proper grammar. It's broken and it's half. Do you believe in that America is dumbing down the children on purpose?
You know, I have two conflicting positions on that. One is anyone who is interested in the longevity of America being a first world nation and really the leading industrialized nation, um, I would say no, that they're not purposely doing that, because those individuals who are interested in America surviving would have enough sense to say, well, education has to be one of the foundational pillars of what we're doing here as a nation. However, I'm also very aware that there is a class of leadership that benefits, and in many ways, because they're benefiting, they're going to encourage the quote unquote, as Lupe Fiasco said, dumbing down of America. So I believe those two things are both true, but I believe that the latter is holding sway. And when you have a situation, and this nation is ironically behaving as if they just emerged from chattel slavery, where Black America only had one individual in their community that could read. They would take everything to this person. Usually they would be the quote unquote preacher. And they would take it to the preacher, and the preacher would read it, he would ponder it, and he would in many ways make a decision that was hopefully for the good of the people. Um, you're you're seeing that occur, but amongst the most politically organized and ignorant populace that you have. Just look at what's occurring within American schools, where any citizen can come in and issue a protest, and they are issuing these protests to have certain books removed. They don't want those ideas to be shared with the masses of individuals. These people are not educators. We're doing this. These are Joe Blow citizens who I don't want them reading about homosexuality. I don't want them reading anything about race. I don't want them reading anything about class struggle or gender struggle. Before long, you're going to end up with a balkanized system that is going to be gridlocked. And the probably one of the most reverberating quotes in my mind as I talk about this is that if a nation will burn books, it will eventually burn men. Um, we have a situation where, out of their ignorance, out of their aggression, out of their lack of education, they're attacking the educational system that they haven't gone through fully. And so, in many ways, that dumbing down, if it's not intentional, it's inevitable coming from that population of individuals. And I yield, brother.
Mm. All right. Thanks, Doc. Brother Isaiah, can you hear us? Can you hear now? Okay. I don't know why you can't hear, Brother Isaiah. Because I can hear Doc and Sister Cassie fine, and they can hear me fine. Um,
Tim to
check with
check his volume. Maybe his volume button is muted.
Yeah, check your volume. Maybe your volume is muted.
Yeah,
Okay, you're gonna try by phone. Okay. Sister Cassie, did you hear the quote, or you need me to read it again?
read it again, but I think I got a little bit of it. But read it again for me.
Okay. Ignorance always needs a teacher. And if you reject the teacher, you will remain in ignorance. And if you remain in ignorance, you become part of the tool that the devil plays with to facilitate his will.
Ignorance is not bliss. I
Mm.
don't care what nobody say. I totally agree with I totally agree with the honorable. I tell you, I totally agree. We are in trouble here. And I do believe that they are dumbing our children down on purpose. It's wild kingdom in some of these schools. Look at it, it's terrible. They are teaching anything and everything in our babies. Stuff that our babies should never be taught in a school. Teach them how to invest. Teach them how about a checking account. Teach them how to purchase homes. Teach them how to keep their credit straight. That's something that this is school. This is what it's supposed to be. Teach us about society and not about homosexuality, LGBT, touching each other. Let's stop with all that and let's get back onto let's get back on the mount here. Let's start doing what we need to be doing the right way. We know how to do this, but right now I do believe that they were doing it on purpose. And I think that we have a lot of infighting right now. You got the Congress, the Senate, and your president. They're all working for the businesses. They're not working for the people anymore. We're in trouble. Nothing about this makes sense right now. You have a whole slew of immigrants, migrants, whatever you want to call them, coming in, and the rug is laid out for them just for a vote. Period. That's what it's got to do with. Because they're already telling them, hey, you can carry guns, you're going to be allowed to vote in November. This is stuff that they're putting in place now. We are in trouble. We are in trouble. And these are people that's coming from countries that don't have order. They buck against their government, and they've been taught how, and they've been allowed to do that. So now you're bringing all that to the U.S. So now it's a mess. I've never seen anything like what we're seeing right now, ever. So yeah, I do believe that the honorable was truthful. Everything, yeah, ignorance is not bliss.
And so because you are agreeing that the American citizens are being dumbed down, or the children in school are being dumbed down on purpose.
I do believe
so if we have a ignorant mass of people,
then guess what? I'll fall for anything. I can lead you by the nose, and that's exactly what they want to do. They want us to be told what to do. Do as I told. Do as you're told. Don't think for yourself. Do it this way. Do it that way. No, you can't do it this way. And that's what it's coming to. And we don't understand. It's slowly but surely moving into that direction. And we don't even. And we saw it 2020. What did they tell you? Oh, everybody got the thing right. You didn't have a choice. Okay, so it was. Then they was just. This is what they're doing. They're testing us now. They're testing to see exactly how far can we go and how far. Because I'm going to take them guns next. We have to understand where it's going. You allow them to get guns, but you sitting up there telling us that we don't need our guns. So what are we really doing here? Something's not right with this picture. Because they always talk about us having guns, But now you're telling the immigrants that they can have guns? Make it make sense. Something's wrong with this whole picture.
Definitely. So we're going to Isaiah. Can you hear now?
Yeah, I can hear now.
Okay. You want to chime in on the quote? Do you need me to read it again?
No, let me listen in because I didn't hear anything about the first 20 minutes.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. All right. Well, we're going to go to another quote. This one by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And let's get y'all's thinking on this one. This one says, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, I come before you today representing a God, the God of justice, the God of peace, and the God who is the truth. Doc, what do you get from that?
That he fervently believes that he's aligned with a just God, an omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, divine individual. That's who he is tied into. That's who he is motivated by. In pretty much the same way that, as I spoke before, white folk believe that they are tied into a God figure that spoke through James Monroe. They gave them complete dominion over the North American continent. So it's coming from the exact same position. The question is, and it's the question that you find at the core of Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart, is whose God is stronger? Is the God that is representing Black folks stronger than the God that represents white folk? Because you both believe in a God. Let's see the fruits of your God. Because if your God is the true and living God, you're not going to be in a position that you're in if if you are obedient to that God and what that God has been telling you to do throughout the annals of time. And I yield, brother.
Doc, let me ask you this.
Mhm.
Do you believe that Black people are God's chosen people?
I don't know if I believe that Black folk are God's chosen people.
Mhm.
Um, I believe that a just God, that his chosen people would not be denoted and selected simply by a race or or a
Mhm.
geographical region. I believe that his chosen people would be resting upon the idea of who's obedient to me.
Mhm.
Kind of like if you come out and you have a like my father, I'll say my father. My father has two children, my sister Sherry and me.
Mhm.
My father, loves my sister more than he loves me. There's no doubt whatsoever in that. Well, he likes her more. I believe he loves us both, but he likes her more than he likes me. They had the same weird ass personality. They understand and get each other. I don't get them. Okay. However, you ask who was more obedient. You ask who was more enjoyable. You ask who my father will send forth to do anything that is of any significance. It is me. So I believe that those who are going to fall in line and be obedient to that God will find favor. And I yield, brother.
Okay. And so, Doc, let me ask you this: do you believe that the um, the reference in the Bible about in Genesis where God is talking to Abraham and saying that your seed will be a stranger in the land for 400 years? Do
Mhm.
you believe that Black people fulfill that?
I believe that not only black folk, I believe a lot of people could fulfill that. I mean, it's one of those situations where, and this is why I don't rely upon the Bible, because people are buffet believers, and they're going to fit in what they want to fit in. Now, if you want to talk about being a stranger for 400 years, and you want to talk about black folk, when do we start that clock? Do we start that clock at 1619 when black folk entered Jamestown? Do we begin that clock in the Caribbean when black folk first came here? It's one of those. It's almost for me being rational, using rationality to go ahead and put yourself at the center of a narrative. Um, I can't co-sign that. I don't know. When does the clock start? When does the clock stop? When do we get to a point? Because you could make the same argument for the people of Liberia, that they were sent and then they returned back home, and what. So I don't get into all of that. I almost look at it as excuse making, that we don't really have to do anything or do much, because our God is going to ride in and correct our position and our status. So I'm not one of those, even as a person who stands firmly within my faith. That's not necessarily a part of my it may be a part of my historical lineage, but it's not a part of my conscious faith, to be honest with you.
Okay, perfect, perfect. And I want to welcome Brother Willie Rivers to the program. Peace and blessings, Brother Willie. We're glad that you're with us. Sister Cassie, do you need me to read the quote over again?
I got it, but I'm gonna tell you what Scripture tells me. And if I'm going, I'm not a Christian, been there and done that, but I'm a believer, and I am understanding who I am, and I understand why we're in the position that we're in, and I do believe that we are His chosen, and the Scripture tells us so. And if you read Deuteronomy 28, you'll find out, and we do have something. And just let me just a little peek here, just a little peek. We're not gonna get biblical on you, but we're gonna just read a little bit to help you to understand, because the word tells us in Revelation 3 and 9. Okay. And you guys understand this. You guys got your phone, you can pull it up and you can talk about it. 3 and 9, 2 and 9, Psalms 83, Deuteronomy 28. And we're gonna start with 64. This says, the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shall thou find no ease, and neither shall the soles of thy feet have rest. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing eyes. Let's go down one more, and then I'm gonna be done. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way. Therefore I speak unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and thou shalt be sold unto your enemies, and bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. But you can read the whole chapter of Deuteronomy 28, and that helps us to understand who we are and whose we are, and why we're in the position that we're in. And I think Christianity kind of blurred that a little bit as far as our understanding, to help us to understand, because he said in just one more, here I go, you guys, y'all bear with me a little bit. When we talked about Revelations 2 and 9, let's just read a little bit of that, because he said, I know thy works. Okay. He said, I know that you were, your land was stolen. Okay. And you have been, let me just read it so I don't get it confused. Hold on, y'all. Give me a little bit. Revelations 2 and 9. Just y'all bear with me for a little bit, because sometimes we have to understand that we've been duped. Okay. And I know thy works in the tribulations and poverty, thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but they are the synagogue of Satan. So it also talks about in 3 and 9 about the land, whose land was stolen, who stole whose land. We have to understand that this word was written for a reason, and we have to understand why it was written, and we have to understand, and let's go deeper, and let's understand the traditions and the cultures. And that's what we need to understand right now. Why are we in the position that we're in now? How did we get here? And this is the history and the tradition and the culture that was stripped away from us, because in Psalms 83, it tells you that you're going to forget who you are. Okay. And it's for a reason. But now we're beginning to wake up. This is why so many more people now are understanding who they are. Okay. And we're still waking up as we go along. But it's just a matter of being taught. And a lot of this we were not taught. We didn't have the understanding. Even in the Christianity churches, which I grew up in, we weren't taught about our traditions and our cultures. And you have to understand, you're still not being taught that. But most of them, Black Americans, where are they? They're in these churches that aren't teaching them their history and their culture. And this is why we're looking and acting the way we're acting now, because we have no culture, nor do we understand the tradition and the traditions of the way of how we used to be, of who we used to be, and why we became to be where we are today. And I rest my mic.
And so, Sister Cassie, if I understand you correctly, you believe that Black people are the people of God.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you couldn't tell me that we're not. It's too much proof that we are. And we have to begin to understand, because you have been colonized and your colonizer has told you are nothing. And your colonized taught your pastors, because you've gone to their synagogues and they taught you who they want to call you. So we sucked it up as far as who they are calling us to be. But instead of us doing our own investigating to understand who we are, how we got here, why did we get here, and the history of it. And I'm going to tell you, if you guys want to even pick up Hebrews to Negroes, Ron Dalton, and look and read that, just look at this, a documentary, which is an amazing documentary that kind of started me on my journey to be able to understand and do a little research myself. So if you are really interested in learning your culture and history, look up that Hebrews to Negroes. And that might help us to understand how we got here. It's a long 3-hour movie, but it's an amazing movie to help me to understand the history and the culture.
And you believe, Sister Cassie, that God is a just God, right?
I absolutely believe that he's a just God. And I do believe that exactly what we've gone through, the other snow people are getting ready to go through the same thing that we went through. The slaves, it talks about it in the word that exact in Joel 3, you could pull that up where it said exactly what you did to my chosen, it's going to happen to you. So just like you put them in slave, you're going to go into the same slavery. It talks about it. Read it. Joel 3. Read the whole chapter.
Okay. And so what does, I guess, justice in the eyes of the God that you believe is the God of Black people,
So
What does
many
that look like?
that looks like exactly what you've done to one. It looks like karma. Just what has happened to you, just like what you've done to us as far as slavery is going to happen to you. It's going to happen. It comes back. It's called karma. It's karma. Is what you did to others, doing to others, that it's coming back even now. If we really look at what we're seeing, it's stuff is being put in place even now to help people to understand who we are. But we have to also do our research to understand who we are and why we're in this situation, and not what the colonizers told you, or not what the colonized taught our pastors to teach us. A lot of what they told you, you have a whole book of Enoch, but nobody reads. And you can pull that book up, and a book of Enoch also, if anybody's read it, it also tells you about what's getting ready to happen to these snow people, the people that have put us into bondage for a reason, and they was given the authority to do that. But people seem to believe that when he comes back, that he's going to be this loving God and all smiles. But no, he coming to kick some name. He coming to kick some butt and take some names. And people don't understand that. That's the justness of the God that we serve.
Okay, excellent. Doc, you believe the God that you serve? Do you believe he's a just God?
Most certainly.
And
Most
what does
certainly,
that
it's what I hang my faith upon, that he is a just God.
So, but what
And
does that look like, though? What does
what do you mean?
that just look like? What does that look like? What does his justice look like?
I can't tell you that. And that's one of the mysteries of God. I can't really expound upon God's thinking, God's actions, what God is going to allow to occur, what he's going to intercede in and make occur. I can't comment upon that. What I can comment upon is quite simply that my position is a very simple one. And it is that it always keeps me grounded, understanding that I'm not in control, number one. And number two, that there is something something much larger than me. When scripture talks about it all works together for the good, um, I've seen that occur in situations that were befuddling. Yet at the exact same time, I couldn't explain to you, even in hindsight, how it all worked and came together. I just can't, and I won't pretend to.
So, Doc, let me ask you this: can the colonizer give you religion?
Yes, a colonizer can give you religion. Now, if you want to talk about if that religion is going to be beneficial for you, that's a whole nother discussion. Do I believe that an individual should believe in a colonizer's religion? No, I do not, unless they're willing to remain colonized and view the world through their lens. So that's my response to that. Now, if we're talking about the idea of Christianity being given to the African, that's historically untrue. You look at where Egypt is. You look at where these were people of color. They were not black people. They're people of color. And it's just what it is. It reminds me of this idea of putting black folk at the center of everything. We need to define what a black person actually is. When we talk about black people, are we talking about American descendants of slavery? Are we talking about those in the Caribbean? Are we talking about Belize? Are we talking about Brazil? Who meets that mark? And that's one of the reasons, once again, I'm like Malcolm. I don't like talking about religion, because when we come out, we talking about religion, we ain't gonna do nothing but argue with each other about it.
Okay, so I'm going to show another picture.
Can I just say one thing on that?
Sure.
Because even if it tells you everybody in the beginning was black, not for me, not people of color. People of color does not mean.
Well, now, what do you mean? What do you mean by black? No. Define black.
Per Dr. Anderson, he told us.
Define
Per
black.
Dr. Claude Anderson, he told us. Okay, But even if you have to understand,
No, you're not. You're not defining it. You're going
I'm
past
talking.
it. I'm
Everybody in the
asking you
beginning
to
looked
define
like
what it
me.
means to be
Look to
black.
Revelations 1:14, and he describes himself. Okay, then he also talks and gives you plenty of evidence of who Solomon was. Solomon was black. David was black. A lot of the biblical characters looked like us. And this is what and if you read it
That's
right,
not.
even in Solomon,
That's not a
even in Solomon,
sociological.
he
That's not
tells
a
you what color he
sociological.
was.
That's
And
not
he
a
tells you what color
sociological
Solomon
geographical
and the
definition of
wives
what
were. He
blackness
tells you
is.
about it. And you
Are
have to
Haitians
understand,
are
even in
Haitians
history,
black?
it tells us
Are
that
Haitians
Egyptians, yes,
black?
in the beginning, yes, everybody
No,
was,
no, no,
yes.
no, 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 no. I'm not
Egyptians
going to let
were
you do
black,
it in
yes,
the
they were,
beginning.
and they were
Be
colonized just
specific,
like
Sister Cassie. If you're a biblical
Egyptians
scholar,
were
if you
black. You
are,
have
they're
to,
black.
yes, they were. They were
So
black in the
Egyptians
beginning,
would
yes,
look at
all of them
us
were.
and say that we are the same people.
What'd you say?
Egyptians would look at American descendants of slavery and say that we are the same people.
Egyptians now, no, but the ones back, yes. Remember what the Egyptians president said?
So what
The
are we
Egyptians
talking about
president
then?
just said that they left out black. They left out black and came back what color. We have to understand the traditions of history tells us what color they were in the beginning. And we've been so traumatized that we don't even want to believe that we're great. We even want to believe that everybody in the beginning was black. To look just like he already told you what the color he was. Revelations 1:14. You can read that and find out what color he said. But everybody, and he tells you,
But
even
we're
in Song
not
of Solomon, he tells you what color it was. And there's so many different
okay.
scriptures that tell you the color of the people that
But
he was
Sister
talking about.
Cassie, we're not talking about color.
We're talking about
What we're talking about is nationality. What we're talking about is racial identity. What we're talking about is ethnicity. I'll give you the perfect example. Sister Miriam Ross, who was one of only two African Americans who lived in this city called Kumasi, that is in northern Ghana. During my trips there, Dr. Ross would get her students to host my students so they would have someone of a like generation so they could go around the city and kick it with it and what have you. And Dr. Ross says to me, she says, watch this. She stands before her students, and keep in mind, these are Africans, these are Ghanaians. And they say she says quite simply, I am black. And they begin to laugh. And she looks at me and smiles and she says, why are you laughing? And they said, because Dr. Ross, you're not black. You're more of a tan, beige color. You're not black. And Dr. Ross's point was that when we're talking about this, that what they're actually saying, the African is using color as a descriptor. American descendants of slavery, we use color, we use the word black to denote a what? A historical lineage that we piece together. And also we use it to denote where we stand in regards to American race relations. That's all I am saying. So the idea of saying that someone is black, I do not doubt that these were people who, by your definition, were black. What I am talking about is right now, when you consider where those on the North American continent, those in the Caribbean, those in South America, those who have been strewn throughout Europe, throughout the African diaspora, are those the people that the Bible is talking about when it talks about, saving them? That's all I'm asking for. What is your definition, contemporary definition of what black is? I'm not talking about a physical descriptor. We've all read scripture. We understand what the messianic figure looked like. Okay. What I'm asking is quite simply, what is the contemporary definition of who is and who isn't black?
Well, let's pull up a couple of things. Job 30:30 tells you what color it is. It's plenty of evidence in the Bible. Plenty of evidence.
That's not what I'm
Job 30,
asking
30,
you. And
30,
I don't
30,
don't
read it.
believe
That's
that you're
one
missing
thing.
what I don't
And
believe that you're
another
missing
thing
what
you
it
can
is that I'm
read.
asking
Hold on,
you.
let me.
You know exactly what I'm asking you. I am not asking you for a physical description. What I am asking you for is a ethnic, sociological descriptor of who qualifies as black, not who looks black. You understand perfectly well what I'm asking you. You're trying to couch yourself in biblical verses.
I'm giving you scripture. If you don't want scripture, then you tell me what
I'm
black
not
is. I'm going
asking you
biblically.
for
I'm
scripture.
only going to go
I'm
biblically.
not
What the word
asking
tells
you
me.
for scripture.
Period.
We've all
That's the only
read
way I can look
scripture.
at it.
What I'm asking you for is who meets the marker of black today. That's what I'm asking you for. What's
Who meets the
occurring
scripture
is
black today?
what's occurring is a hocus pocus curtain trick that Negroes like to do. That when it's convenient for them, they associate themselves with Christianity and blackness. When it's not convenient for them to do, they distance themselves. And it's ironic to me that you fashion yourself not as a Christian. Okay,
I'm not a Christian. Absolutely.
but you're
I'm a
couching
believer and
your
I
entire
understand.
argument
I
in the very
understand the culture
foundation
and
of
the
what
history.
Christians believe is
I
the very
understand my
breath
culture and
of God.
history, and that's what's important to me. My culture and history, that's what's important.
We'll believe that.
So you can believe what you want to believe, and that's your opinion. We all have one. So, it is what it is. I'm going to believe till he comes back what he said and what his word said. And he called himself black. Revelations 1:14. He called himself Job 30:30. I mean, it is what it is. Even back in the biblical days, they were black. Whether you want to believe that or not, it's up to you. I'm just saying.
I don't doubt that their physical appearance was black. Can you get beyond that?
No, I cannot. I'm telling you what you asked me.
I'm agreeing with your ass that they were black. And you can't understand that. I agree with you.
So my question
for you is, who's black today? Are those who were in what I term the old country, would they consider themselves to be black?
Do they not?
Say that again.
You say, okay, so you're saying that the ones in Egypt are not black?
No.
If their DNA is black, if their DNA,
I agree with you.
So what are you saying then? You arguing? What are you arguing?
No, you're not understanding what it is that I'm clearly saying to you. Because you're not listening to me. You're not hearing me. I don't doubt the descriptions that come out of scripture. I know them very well. My question is quite in the new millennium, who do you consider to be black? You just finished saying that Egyptians today are not black. So my question
I didn't say that. I believe the Egyptians are today black.
Okay.
Next question. Just move forward. Move on.
All right. So, Isaiah, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear. What's up, Sister Cassie? Put it down, baby. Put it down. Stand on your ground. Don't move. But look, yeah, if I'm understanding Doc, and correct me if I'm wrong, Doc, is that Africans see so-called black people in America quite differently than what they would see themselves, because basically they're all the same quote-unquote color, if I can use that word in a pejorative term, you know what I mean? But in America, black is dead on arrival. It has no substance of law. It's been deemed as a property somewhere down the line. But in today's world, as far as African Americans go, if you want to go that route, or black people go, if you want to go that route, or people of color, or Negro, or even Cherokee, or Tainos, whatever the case may be, however you affiliate, overall, when I am in America, I am deemed as either African American or black. I have never been called a Negro. I think that was back in the, correct me if I'm wrong, Doc, that was back in the 60s and early 70s. And then Jesse Jackson started the African American thing. Black is beautiful, and then you got the damn it, the singer with the you know who I'm talking about. Hey, you know what I mean? Jane Brown with the Black is beautiful kind of thing. But it evolves over time. At one point, blue used to be a girl color and pink used to be a boy color. but the word for us went from Moor to and African American been around since the, the early 1800s, if I'm not mistaken. I do recall that. They didn't start with Jesse Jackson, but we would call Moors. We would call uh, what's that word? And that was a famous enslaved Arab guy who looked just like me and you, Brother Muhammad. But he had gotten out of so-called slave position because he proved to be a Muslim. And you know, the Moorish Empire at that time was very strong, and the very first treaty that was done with America was done with the Moors out of oh shit, what is it? The Treaty of Peace. Help me out, Doc, because I'm kind of going here. But anyway, the idea is that in today's world, we in America, we're seen as black. I'm not black. I don't see myself as black, but being a black person of Dominican American nationality, I prefer, and I'm going to say this, Sister Cassie, I prefer not to be a color because there's no such thing. I don't come from our parents and your parents and my parents. We didn't come from a land called black, and white people didn't come from a land called black. I mean white, and Asian didn't come from a place called yellow, and you know the whole nine. But it's very important to understand how we got to this point and how the word evolved into what we are considered to be today. And it can be a slippery slope if you're not aware of the history behind it and how we got to this point. So I throw that back. I haven't thought about anything else that might come up that I'm kind of thinking about right now, Brother Muhammad.
Well, I'm going to chime in on this a little bit. We have to also remember that when the term Moor was used, that was also used for white folks. And so what they separated, they called, if you was a black skin Moor, they called you a blacker Moor. If you was a white skin Moor, you were just called a Moor. So that's something that has to be taken into consideration when we're using those terms. Black is not so much a color, but it is the essence from which all color comes. So the first people on this planet are black people, and that's, there's no question about that. That is what it is. Now, when we understand that when you're trying to tie a people who are universal, a people who own the entire planet, then considering them to one piece of land is not proper. So, you know, you have those who are Nigerians, you have those who are Ethiopians, you have those who are, you know, so-called Americans. Now, for us, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the Asiatic black man and woman, right? Because at one point, this whole earth was called Asia, and we were the rulers of it, period, point blank. We are God's children. Therefore, the original person is a black man and woman. And all others, Chinese, Japanese, all these other individuals or people, however you want to describe them, came from what is called black people. Now, you have to ask yourself, since they say that black is not found in the law books, right? Well, you have to say, well, what law books are you dealing with that cancel out blackness? And that would be what? That would be this cracker, who last name is Black law books, that says black has no standing. Well, wait a minute. Am I going to listen to the cracker to define my blackness, to define who I am? Just because he says it has no standing. Fuck him. He don't define me. I define me by what my God gave me. And so when we're dealing with what the enemy says, we don't use that as a validation of who we are. Our validation of who we are comes from our God on high. That is our validation. Now, we have people today who do not ascribe to being black. They can be from Ethiopia, they can be from Egypt, they can be from Timbuktu and say, I ain't black. That's not who I am. I ain't black. I'm this, I'm that. That's what you say you are. That's what you say you are. And many don't want to be called black because black is seen as something negative, as something terrible. When it's the essence of beauty, it is the essence of life itself. So, you know, there's a lot of things that we can compose of, but whenever we add what the enemy thinks into the process, it dirties the process because the enemy has no love for you at all. So they're never going to define you in a way that's positive. My dad told me one time, he said, you know, I called this black woman black once, and she chased me down to want to beat me up because I called her black. He said, if I would have called her a bitch, she would have never tried to fight me. But because I called her black, she wanted to destroy me. Because in the mind, black is worthless. Black is just the baddest. He doesn't never want to be called black. I love being black. I don't want to be nothing else but black. And I cannot be defined by a little piece of territory when my God gave us the whole damn planet. The whole damn planet belongs to us, and we will rule this planet. It is our destiny. It is our destiny. So we got to understand in the first step to awaken Black people, Black America to war is to break them from their ignorance of being an American. To break them from that, because as long as they tie themselves to being what the enemy says that you're really not, you will fall in allegiance and will never stand up for what is right for yourself and your people. This is the first phase of the awakening, accepting who we are, accepting who we are, and loving it. And loving it. To me, there's nothing greater than being Black. Nothing compares to it. Nothing. And so when we realize that that's who we are, not by accident, we're Black on purpose. Not by happenstance. We're Black on purpose. Because we are God's people, not by accident, but on purpose. And so as we go into looking and trying to summarize, pinpoint times in our history that should have awakened us to the time and what must be done. Because if we're not awakened to the time and what must be done, we will find ourselves repeating over and over the same old BS and going through the same old BS over and over again. So in this next part, I want to put up a picture and see, what does that picture mean? What does that picture say to you? And it should it be forgotten? And how can it be used as a rallying cry? Now you see this black brother tied to the post. And you see in the background back here, other black people. There's a black man sitting right there. And this little brother is suffering. He's suffering. Now, people may not understand what they're looking at. They just see a black boy kind of hobbled to a post where you can't stretch your legs. You can't, extend your limbs. That has to be some horrifying treatment. Horrifying treatment. And by the looks, I would say he's in some type of jail situation. Maybe he didn't, this was during the time of, what do they call it, convict leasing or something.
Yeah, this is a classic historical picture. You're absolutely correct. This is post Civil War photo of a young man who has been, from one way or another, placed inside the convict lease system, and in one way or another, he has been punished within that convict lease system. It ties all the way back to the 13th Amendment and the criminalizing of what means blackness. When the 13th Amendment talks about the idea that it abolishes slavery, except in the case of criminals. And they go ahead and criminalize blackness, and they were arresting black children all the way down to 6, 7 years of age. It's what the movie Life was predicated upon.
Do you know what his name is, Doc?
No, he's actually, I've never heard anyone give a name for him. There are quite a few photos, and he's actually kind of old, if we can use the word old, for a, there was a traveling exhibit of photos such as this, and he would probably be the oldest of those that was photographed. But it's certainly Parchment Farm convict lease system. If you imagine the movie Life and how they were staying in those bungalows and what have you, it was an inducement for black folk to remain as sharecroppers, because it is actually against the law to be a vagrant. And the Southern application of what vagrancy actually is predicated upon joblessness. That was a crime, to just not have a job.
Wow. And do you know how long he was tied up like this?
The typical length of time would be between 1 to 5 days for them to be punished like this. You have to remember that within this nation, and when you're talking about, just think about leasing a car. When you're talking about convict lease system, if someone needed a field to be cleared, they would call the local constable or sheriff and have 50 to 100 inmates brought out, how many they agreed upon paying for or leasing. And as a Christian nation, these men usually, by and large, didn't work on Sunday. So, and I lecture about this, and I liken it for my students to this quandary right here. Imagine Houston, Texas, in June or July, because these men are going to be transported. These men and children are going to be transported almost as if they're zoo animals, going to a circus and what have you, held within iron cages. So imagine Sunday from Saturday evening, and of course it's going to be plus 100 degrees here. Imagine being in there from Saturday evening all the way to Monday morning. The heating up of that iron cage. Imagine the midnight hour, the witching hour, where these men, these cages are going to be infiltrated by snakes, by all types of rodents and what have you, and having to fight, basically to keep from being consumed by one of these animals. So it's in every way. This is a moment of it's American history, but it's what Rayford Logan, the great historian out of Howard University, referred to as the nadir. And what Logan was saying is, you think slavery was bad? Now they got something worse. And he cites 1877 with the election of Rutherford B. Hayes and the Republican Party's vacating of the South to be the lowest point of Black folk in the history of this nation. He says this is worse than slavery.
Mm. So there's a few things that just really blew my mind, because I thought, to be very honest, I thought they had him out there maybe for a few hours. You just said days, that this little brother had to be like that for days. That is wow.
That's their tradition. If you go to the Cape Coast Castle in Ghana, you'll find, well, no, Elmina. If you go to Elmina, you'll find spots where they would take whoever the captain was of the castle and the dungeon at that time. He could come out on his veranda and he would point to a specific Black woman, say, "I want that one." Now he didn't want her to be forced to come up in there, okay, because he wanted, his sexual conquest to be a willing one. So if she was unwilling to be bathed and then to go up there and do what it is that he wanted her to do, they would actually chain her to the ground, exposing her to whatever elements they were, be they sun, be there rain, what have you, until she submitted. And we're talking about a submission process that could go on for 2 weeks. That's their way.
God damn. Wow. And you said that 1877, Rutherford B. Hayes, when the Republicans pulled out of the South, it was worse than slavery. You on mute, Doc. We can't hear you.
Rutherford B. Hayes runs against Samuel J. Tilden in the election of 1876, which is probably the most pivotal election for the future of Black folk. And Samuel J. Tilden actually wins the popular vote, and he also is ahead with the electoral count. But Louisiana, South Carolina, and Florida all disagree on who won their state. The Republican Party says they won. The Democratic Party says they won. A negotiation is entered into. The South agrees to allow Rutherford B. Hayes to become the president of the United States under the condition that they have the return of what we know as home rule. And basically, it is the lifting of martial law throughout the South, because they've been under martial law. The Klan was created in 1865, 1866. You have the last act of the Republican Party to protect Black folk, or the 1870 and 1871 Enforcement Acts. So come the election of 1876, we've been in Southern Reconstruction. The South is in charge. The Republican Party has vacated all responsibility for Black life. They're trying to figure out what's going to happen with the Industrial Revolution. So that's where their focus is. So the election of 1876 is predicated and decided upon how are you going to handle the railroad strike? Because there's been a looming railroad strike, and if coal doesn't get to Chicago, Boston, New York, those people are going to die. And so Hayes is given the Oval Office takes all the troops out. It is the moment of white revenge, 1877 forward. Black folk are they're in a horrible place. This is lynching, beatings, rapes, and what have you. We see an escalation of that, and there isn't a Douglas is going to die. There isn't a black spokesperson addressing these issues until we have Booker Taliaferro Washington rise up in the mid 1890s. So this is a common thing right here, and of course remember the case of Homer A. Plessy versus Ferguson, which was attempting to get the Republican Party back involved in Southern affairs. 1896, the Republican Party says quite simply, don't look to us. The Supreme Court basically told them separate but equal is constitutional. You're on your own. And you're going to begin to see a trickle that's going to eventually turn into a steady stream of Black folk leaving the South during this moment, being pulled to the North by educational opportunities, job opportunities, what have you, and being pushed to the West because of rape, lynchings, burnings, and what have you. So this is like I said, this is a classic photo. But there are a lot of other photos of young children who are out picking cotton, out doing a whole lot of things. And these kids, slightly above 5 years old, probably. And they've committed crimes, what the white South considers a crime, such as going into a general store and grabbing a hat and putting it on your nappy head. No white person is going to buy that hat. You ruined it.
We remember the rise of the Ku Klux Klan too, so that was all a part of it, right, Doc?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. When you look at the Republican Party having
Right.
Their last acts were the enforcement acts of 1870 and 1871,
Right.
which barred people from wearing a hood outside.
But one thing about that too, if I may, Brother Muhammad, is that the involvement, the eradication, and the rise of the Ku Klux Klan all came tumbling down. They lost their ground, they lost their fort, they lost their political involvement because they were raping their own women, their own children. They were selling and trafficking these people. And I think we talked about this before, Brother Muhammad. It's a big thing on the internet. I don't remember the name of the video, but it talked about how in the 1920s, it was like the involvement of white America into the Ku Klux Klan in every level, hospital, doctor, lawyers, mechanics, you name it. They were all part of this group. But they came tumbling down because of the fact that they were raping their own children, raping their own women, pimping their own women. And it all came tumbling down. A big ass march of the Ku Klux Klan in Washington, D.C. took place. And after that, man, they went south. There was no viability in that. And I can say it in this way: evil will always destroy itself in the end, and those who partake in it, always and always. Always, ALWAYS, and in always, ALLWAYS. And there's no ground, and okay, that's another thing. There's no ground in hate. It always destroys itself in the end. But I'll throw it back at you.
So you're saying that the Klan don't exist anymore?
Say what now, Mom?
Are you saying that the Klan does not exist anymore?
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it wasn't as strong as it was back then. It's strong to whatever degree it may be, but it's not to the point where it was in the 1920s and 30s, maybe even the 40s and 50s. But after they became busted, I guess in a way, lack of a better way of saying it, they destroyed themselves from the inside out.
They just went into hiding. That's what they did. They went into hiding, into being judges and teachers.
Oh yeah, for sure. They wasn't. Yeah, for sure.
They didn't come out in the front, but they still hanging. They still doing their job. Trust me.
But not. They're not out there talking about nigga, 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 nigga. They ain't gonna come to no black neighborhood. I can tell you this. Here, I am very suspect. How you say it? I am very suspicious. Yeah, of white folks coming here because I know they itching to say nigga. When they get off that boat and that plane, they so nice and so. Brother Muhammad, if you were here, you would say, God damn, wait, what happened? They so nice and polite, and I was on a motor concho going downtown to my internet place, and I passed this white woman and her husband and baby or whatever the fuck it was, and they looked at me like I didn't speak in English, I just spoke in Spanish, and they were very nice. Oh, how are you? Yeah, motherfucker, I know you, motherfucker. I know you. You just itching, but you know what? Everybody here got a gun. Basically, there's no problem with getting a gun. So you're not going to see a Ku Klux Klan rally going there. But one thing about it is that in the 1960s, white folk came here and started that racial bullshit.
Oh,
You
really?
understand what I'm telling you? Yeah, in the 1960s. And there's a Dominican woman who talks about that, and she says she knows she's black. Now, I'm not saying black like a color or like a nationality. We know we're from Africa as Dominican. We know we're black as far as color goes. We know as we black if we want to identify as a nation or as a race. That's not the issue, but what is more important is the background of the historical significance of our people and where we are right now and where we can make that reconnection back again. It's very important to understand the past so you can I'm sorry. It's very important to understand to know the past so you can understand the present and predict the future, and therefore you can move forward and beyond this bullshit. There was a video I sent to you. I don't know if you've seen it, Brother Muhammad, of an eagle, and when it's in flight, if you can bring that up, I don't know if you can, but when it's in flight, crows are known to get on its back and ride. That's like white folks get on the back, I'll get on our back. But the eagle doesn't pay no attention to that bullshit. It just goes higher and higher and flies higher and higher, and it knows that the crow cannot sustain that level of atmosphere, and so it falls off and dies. Stay focused, motherfucker. Fuck white folks, they trying to dip and hide and get you to go over here and look over there. Mm-mm. We are on the rise. White folks are on the demise. Do you understand what I'm telling you? It ain't no 20, 30, 40, 50 years. I'm talking about within the next 5, 10. If that, the sword of Allah, the sword of Islam is on the move. White folks are converting. Muhammad, the prophet, was as black as coal. To be a real true Arab, you got to be black. The more black you are, the more of an Arab you are. And I just want to say this, Brother Muhammad. I was the first time I ever seen that one, heard that one. A black or more, and what? No, white folk can be more, baby. Boy.
Yeah, they were called more.
Oh, hold on, let me throw it out. Let me throw it out. Well, we can get into it now. But all I'm saying is that in the ancient world, the Moors were known as black people. When you look at the word Ethiopia, it's not a country. It is a descriptive term. Black means, I'm sorry. Ethiopia means black. Ethio means, correct me if I'm wrong. It might be twisted. But Ethio means face and Pia means black, or one of the reverse of that. So all of Africa and African people and people of dark skin, brown skin features were known as Ethiopians. So it wasn't it was a descriptive term. It wasn't a country. So I'll throw it back at you.
All right, thank you, Brother Isaiah. Doc, you want to explain the picture you got up?
Yeah, I mean, the picture is self-explanatory. These are the children. As you can see, these children are in those striped pajamas, which is a telltale sign that they're incarcerated. and you just imagine the ages, and you imagine, because this is the criminalizing of blackness. Make no mistake about it.
Well, what
It
year is
is
that,
it is
Doc?
plain. This would probably be 1880s. When you look at the quality of the film and what have you, it's probably the 1880s. This would be right after what Rayford Logan is talking about, the nadir, the signing of the 13th Amendment. This is the loophole that fell through it. These children right here have been re-enslaved. They're old enough to work, and they're going to extract some labor out of them. You have to remember that this is a contentious battle for labor in America, and one of the most contentious aspects of it are children. Many of the pretty much all of the recently emancipated black folk wanted their children to get an education because they believed that was the only thing that white folk had over them. And we have these amazing stories where if a family had two children, they would send one to school and the other one would have to stay around the plantation. So if the owner called for them, a child could be produced. So that the long hand of Southern tyrannical rule, it didn't have to reach too far to grab black children up. And these are, once again, what ages do you think these kids are? Five
Awfully
to
young. Yeah,
five
they're
to
young.
12. Yeah. And they're working. You can see that there's a field behind them. They've cleared this part of it right now. And they're moving on to the next part of it. And they would be stored in cages at night to make sure they didn't flee. And the next morning they're going to have to get up and they're going to have to continue their work. This is big business. This is contract work right here. It's no different than you have American corporations going into prisons
Wow.
right now,
Mm.
exploiting prisoners for their labor. Yet these same, so there you go.
Mm.
That's the nadir
So
right there.
we all seen the movie. Sis Cassie, help me. What's the name of the movie where they kidnap the people and give them a black education? What's the name of
Oh man, there you go. We need forecast for that. I
it?
done forgot. Oh my goodness. The coon. Oh Lord, I forgot. The
Okay.
name.
They shooting up what now?
Oh my goodness. I don't
No,
know.
they kidnap black people off the street and take them for re-education, showing them pictures of their history and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh man, that goes back a minute. I know it. Oh shit! What the hell is that? Yeah,
I
I know what you're
know.
talking about.
So
Uh,
we're gonna play that out. So as the pictures that we got up, I'm going to ask each panelist to, if you were in that room, you're the teacher, and you have the uneducated person who don't understand who they are, and you got to break it down to them. How would
Mhm.
you break down this picture to them? So Doc, you up first. How would you break it down to them?
I would just tell them that this is a continuation of America's grandest tradition, which is the harming, the exploitation of the Black nation. And it's one of the reasons why Black America needs to break away because of moments like this. We need photos like this in every one of our homes. We need this over and somewhere in the room of our children, so they will understand from not from whence they came, but from what they've been through, what their ancestors have been through, and how blessed and treasured their opportunities actually are. This is American history, unfiltered and raw. This is what it does. There is no one in their right mind who could ever generate an argument that would quite simply say that these young children have done some offense that is worthy of incarceration in a penitentiary for years. This ain't just no 30-day stay. They've been snatched away from their parents. They've been snatched away from society. This is America, and this is America's intentions for Black folk. And if you
Mm.
understand that, you better be receptive, regardless of whatever differences you may have. You better be receptive to Cassie land. You better be receptive to breaking away with the Nation of Islam to a Black land, because they ain't playing. They don't care. And black children who believe that have been raised in a suburban life, integrated schools, and what have you, that's the effect and the impact and the result of integrating with them. When they have the hammer, this is what they're going to do, and they're fighting like hell to maintain their hammer as if they're Thor. And I yield, brother.
Mm, awesome. Thank you, Doc. Sister Cassie, what would you teach them?
The name of that movie was Drop Squad.
Yeah, Drop Squad.
Drop
There
Squad.
we go.
Whoa, the first thing I'm going to teach my babies. This is the result of a very racist America. This is the reason why you stay separate from them. And this is the reason why you don't let them educate your babies. This right here is the reason why we stay separate. Period. Our ancestors, here we go again. This is why our ancestors separated us for a reason. But what did? We knew so much more. We came back. So this is the result of coming back up under them. This is the result of never wanting to be free, of being free and but wanting what they had, but not understanding that we can always have our own. Stay separate, build, and have your own. We don't need them for anything. They can invest their money, but they can't join. In Cassie land, this is what we won't do. We're gonna stay separate and equal, and then we're gonna invest in our own. But this is the result of when you come together and stay together and don't want to be free. How do you get free of that? We have to begin to educate our children of the dangers of commingling, of the dangers of mixing and mingling, of the dangers of us continuing to stay up under them. Because it still exists. It's just behind bars. They have orange jackets now. They still exist. They didn't go away. It's still here. But that's because we separated. Then we came back up under enemies. No. We create our own system. We don't have to worry about this in our own system. We don't have to worry about being unemployed. They unemployed you and then put you in jail because they wouldn't hire you for a job. Make it make sense. But this is the result of hard-headedness, period. I rest my mic.
Thank you, Sister Cassie. Brother Isaiah, how would you talk to your crew who you done kidnapped to make them understand what's been going on? How would you explain
Hey, say that again.
How would you, if you were on the drop squad and you got a fresh recruits down there that don't understand a damn thing about what we've been through, how would you explain that picture to them?
That's more than just 2 or 3 minutes.
Come
But
on,
there's
give
a
us
whole
the
history.
version.
Yeah.
Give us the small word.
I'm gonna try, Sister Cassie. Now you know me. I like to give as much context as I can, but let me try. There's a whole history behind this long before this picture was taken. So you got to remember, white folk were out there picking cotton too. White folk were out there working the sugar cane and the tobacco too. But after the 1865 Civil Rights Act and all of that was going on in the book that we talked about, the black congressman, you know what I mean? I can't remember the name of that book. But the idea is that white folk got sick as a dog. They could not handle us in power. And what did they do? They formed the Democratic Party. What did they do after that? They created the Ku Klux Klan. What did they do after that? They figured out, hey, well, we can take over the local, state, and federal levels, become judges and policemen and this, that, and the other, and change the law to benefit us and wipe out any and all benefit going to so-called these niggers. And that is exactly what they did. Um, white folk got land, white folk got machinery, white folk got all the things that they needed in order to bring them into the economic fold of America and become richer. That also played out in the 1940s and 50s and 60s and 70s, all the way down to the present day and moment where white folk benefited from home loans and things of that sort. And I sent that to you as well, Brother Muhammad. So we've been treated all the way around. And the thing is that all of this is totally illegal. Anything that is repugnant to the Constitution is illegal. I don't give a fuck what it is. Do you understand what I'm telling you? And we cannot go by and sit on our hands and act like white folk are giving us anything. They're not giving us anything other than what we are deserving of. We have the right to vote. We have the right to assemble or whatever the case may be. We have the right to citizenship and all of that. That had never been denied us, ever. That's what the black President Lincoln was talking about. That's what the black vice president did. You know what I mean? So this picture is repugnant to me. I couldn't even begin to understand how to explain it outside of being the form of psychotic and psychopathic white mentality that they cannot compete with us on an even level playing field, and they can't. They gotta cheat, and this is the very reason why they use, if anything else, they use the 13th Amendment in order to bring about the curfew laws and these vagrancy laws, Doc was talking about, to put people into prison and putting them into a status of a slave again. So this whole thing, yeah. I know. I'm wrapping it up. Give me about another 15 seconds. But this is a sad picture, and I just don't know what else that can be said outside of what I just said. And I throw it back, minus what I could have said.
Thank you, Brother Isaiah. We're going to go to a next picture and see how you would communicate that. Now, this picture, as we maybe don't know, but this came from Hurricane Katrina. This is New Orleans. This happened in our lifetime. This is at the Superdome, where our people were getting some very, very bad treatment, losing their life. But remember, they didn't call our people citizens. They called them refugees. And when them bastards were getting burned up in California, they called them citizens, but called our people refugees. So, Sister Cassie, we're going to start with you on this one. How would you break this one down? How would you explain?
Let this be a lesson to you. These people don't care. They're not your friends. If you don't care about you, nobody else is. If you don't take care of you, if you don't support your own, if you don't understand now how much they hate you, that they will have a perpetual hatred for you, and they're not here to help you. They're here for your demise. So until we come together and do for us, you're going to continue seeing this. This is not going to stop. So my question is to them, what are you willing to do about it? Are we ready to build? Are we ready to fight? Or what are we ready to do? Let me know when you're ready to do something. Because this right here, this will never stop. These people will always hate you. Even the ones that's married to you hate you. And you still don't understand that. You think it's love. You calling them friends. God never called those people friends. He said they'll have a perpetual hatred for you. They're going to always hate you. But we, in turn, continue calling them friends. But let this be a lesson to you. This is how they feel about you. They don't care. They didn't care. They took their time getting to New Orleans. They took their time. How many days passed before they actually sent them help? And wasn't Bush in control of this?
Yeah.
How many days passed before that bastard went and sent somebody to help them people?
Mm-hmm.
But let this be a lesson to you. This is how they feel about you. I rest my mic.
Yes, ma'am.
Ain't no
Brother
friends.
Isaiah?
Well, you know, I love pictures, and this speaks volume. Um, you know, in the most positive of ways, I see faith, hope, destiny, love. Uh, the worst of it, I see people who perhaps, and I'm just saying, and I'm going to get into the Ferguson thing in a minute, uh, walking around in dirt and filth, and none of these niggas can take a broom and sweep up. What the fuck? I mean, you know, I take pride in my neighborhood, and we sweep our shit up. You know what I mean? But overall, you got to understand, like what Sister Cassie was saying, the hate that is uh, part and partial or whole that white folks have for us run deep, man. We have no friends among them. If they are friends, you better watch their motherfucking ass because they are there for a reason and a purpose for a handout and they getting something. Now, one thing I don't like is the fact that in Ferguson, Missouri, after Michael Brown got shot, them stupid niggas voted them white folks back into office.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, I give no fucks about them niggas in Missouri. Ferguson, in particular, as far as I'm concerned, the police can kill them all. Mow them motherfucker down, mow the lawn, motherfucker. Because this is what you want. You voted them right back in. So you must like their foot in your motherfucking ass. You know what I mean? But, you know, I am a, what's the word for that? I believe in the positiveness of it all. Those two black congressmen who died, who kept their districts and filth and garbage all over the damn place. You know what I'm talking about. Um, Man, fuck them too. Cause there's some black folk who are in it to win it for themselves, and they don't give a fuck about their own community. But the black congressman who kept the white folks' neighborhood clean, but the black one dirty and filthy and nasty with garbage up the ass about 3, 4, 5 feet high. He didn't give a fuck, and they kept, voting him in. But there is no way, no how, no manner of condition of the mind in my mind that I can ever give up on our people. You know what I mean? It ain't gonna rest. We gonna make a way out of no way. You know what I mean? And if uh, push come to shove, we do what we got to do. We gonna do it. Come through hell and high water. And the thing is that this picture speaks volumes. And like I said, I see a lot of hope, a lot of prayerness, a lot of angst. How you say it? A lot of angst. A-N-G. I don't know how you say that. A-N-G-S-T.
Angst.
Angst. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Angst. But overall, deep down inside, we know we're gonna make it. You know what I mean. There, you can't go nowhere. You can't go no lower than rock bottom. Shit. You know what I mean? You got to go and do what you got to do to make it, and we gonna make it. We've come this far, and there's no turning back and turning around. So we're gonna make it. It's the white folks that are worried. They're like the crows on the eagle's back. You know what I mean? We just gonna keep rising. That I don't give a fuck about what's going on. You know what I mean? We're gonna sing that old nigga spiritual and keep on keeping on. You know, Sister Cass. You know, swing down, swing. We're gonna sing that motherfucker until the wheels fall off, and then pick up the wagon and keep it moving. I throw it back.
So one thing that I want to point out, as you can see, The sister's obviously on her knees. She has her hands together like this, praying, in the form of prayer and calling out. Now, we have given so much to America. We have given so much to white folks. They wouldn't even be free if it wasn't for us. They wouldn't be free if it wasn't for us. And in a modern time, because as Sister Cassie said, yep, this is when President George W. Bush was president. And nothing was done. He even told the dude, Brownie, that you're doing a heck of a job. And our people dying in the streets. No water, no food. And she's on her knees calling out for help. Because there's that belief that Massa gonna come save us. Massa gonna come save us. And he showed you, I ain't coming saving you at all. Now, I read Bush's book, and he said, I told Vice President Dick Cheney to handle this situation, to put together the things that need to be put together like you did for Iraq, put it together for New Orleans and go save them people. And he said Dick Cheney told him no and walked out the damn room. Here's the Vice President of the United States telling the president no. And walks
But Muhammad, is it the Katrina thing or something like that? What is
Yes,
it?
that's Katrina.
Oh,
And he said,
okay.
I'm looking for the hope. I don't see the hope you was talking about.
Me
Okay.
either.
You said hope. I'm like, where the hell the hope at? What the hell? What the hope?
Okay, okay.
But
Now
my
I
thing
see.
is, but see, even with this right here, black folks still don't get them crackers. They still don't know them crackers hate them. They still gonna fight for white supremacy to be over them come November. Guarantee you they gonna still vote for white supremacy over them. That's not enough. This picture right here still ain't enough. That's the sad part about it. So when you say
Yeah, and
if
I'm not mistaken, the police were on a rampage of shooting motherfuckers.
Yes, they
Black
was.
folks. Yeah.
Yeah, they
They were
was.
it was a hunting season.
And that should have been the time where they turned on their asses and did the same thing to them. I'd have drowned all of them. But we don't do it. We don't take advantage of situations like that. We don't take advantage of that. That was a situation where we should have been doing the same to them.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't ever take advantage of situations like this. Just like with George Floyd. We didn't take full advantage of that. We still dropped the damn ball. We didn't take it to where we could have took it.
Mm-hmm.
We were scared.
That was some hard times.
We're scared.
And that was a hard time.
But still, you had a whole president that didn't even think nothing about it. It took him 8 days to get there. 8. He tried to let as many die as he could before he took his ass over there. And they still love that man. Michelle Obama, they still love that man. She wrote a book and loved him. Spoke highly of this man, didn't she? But them type of black folk, they gonna die with them. Candace Owens, they gonna die with them. All of them.
I can't even imagine. I couldn't imagine that that Katrina thing. That was
they should have been killed
beyond a nightmare.
But see, we don't take advantage of stuff like this. We sit up there, we do this right here and pray. God said, when you gonna get up and fight for yourself? When you gonna do it for yourself? He said, I gave you the permission. When you gonna do it? What you waiting on? He gave you the permission. That's why he ain't coming. He gave you the authority. And we still won't get up and fight. You had 6 police officers, right? In Mississippi. Did some horrible stuff to 2 black men.
That's right.
What the hell did they say? I forgive you. What the hell? What the hell?
Yeah, that's some wild shit, ain't it?
What in the hell are you talking? And you think we're gonna fight something? Hold your breath. I'm not gonna hold mine. Black folk are done. When you sit up there and you can go through what you went through, and you still turn around and tell them bastards that you forgive them. They done sexual assaulted you with who knows, God knows what. They shot you in your mouth. And you tell that you forgive him? Or I'm gonna forgive you after I do to you what you've done to me. Yeah, I'm gonna forgive you then. But not until we get some justice. We don't forgive people that don't even ask for your forgiveness. These people aren't even asking you for your forgiveness, but we forgiving them. We don't forgive. We forgive police that's actually murdering our babies in the street. Michael Brown, we forgave them. Sandra Bland, we forgave them. Trayvon Martin, we forgave. That was an opportunity for us to rise up and show them what we're working with. We don't want to die for nothing. We don't want to die for change. So how we gonna get free? We're not free up here. The more you allow them to educate your children, the deeper and deeper we getting up under them. And I don't know how we're gonna fight. Well, I don't see ourselves fighting out of this. I told you I thought about this thing. I thought about this. I couldn't even see how we're gonna get free if it don't take the Most High Himself to give somebody some courage.
Yeah, that gonna be some shit.
It's time. Don't you think it's time?
It's been time.
It's time. Now it's time. Right now. While this country is going through all of this upheaval, now is the time to rise up and do what we need to do. But you think we're gonna take advantage of that? No. They done told immigrants now they can have guns, but then they'll look at you like you crazy when you got one. What are we doing here, family? What are we doing? You getting ready to arm these folk here that's coming over here doing God knows what? I'm gonna tell you, black folk, what you better do. You better get your leaf blowers. You should have had them, but I'm gonna just say, if you ain't have them, you better get them. Let them catch you off guard. You see what's going on, and you still sitting up here without your leaf blowers. Sit there if you want to.
You got that right.
I rest my mic.
Definitely. Hurricane Katrina should have woken the spirit of Black America to a new level. And you know, for me, to be very honest, for me, sitting in Nashville watching this on TV, and I said to myself, I said, never again. I said, we have to have our own buses to send there to get our people out. We have to be forward thinking, knowing now that the government is not coming to save us. We got to be able to save us. We need our own boats. We need our own buses to get there and get our people out. We need our own security forces to do what need to be done.
You would have thought we learned from this, and we learned absolutely nothing because we still don't have our own bus. We still don't have our own boats. We still have nothing to call our own. We still not preparing. Even what happened in Texas. Remember just a couple of years ago, Texas went in a freeze. What the governor, what's that guy name? He was one of the senators, Tom Cruise. What did he do? He went to a damn island. Exactly. He left them niggas right there, didn't he? And went to an island, and they still voted him in the next year. Now, I don't know what you call mental illness, but that to me is mental illness. We're not learning anything from any of this stuff, which makes no sense to me. We're not learning. We're not learning. You know how some people learn from their mistakes? We're not learning anything from nothing. Whatever happens, it keeps happening over and over. And then we still look to them. Okay, master, we're going to do better next time. What the hell? What do you mean? Let's start building now. Start putting stuff together now. Start putting things in place now. We're not doing it.
And this is what we definitely have to understand, because those levees were blew up. The levees were blew up where the black people got drowned out. If the cracker didn't blow the levee up, we would have been okay. But he blew the damn levee up so it wouldn't destroy the French Quarter. So that's why they blew the levee up. They did that before, back in the 20s. They did it before. So we got to be able to get to the understanding of they are satanic. They are evil. They don't have a problem We're killing you to save their property. We're not talking about saving their lives. We're talking about saving their property. They blew the shit up to kill you to save their property. That's how much you don't even matter to them. That their property is more valuable than your life. Than your life. You think about it. You think about it. And then you want to say, well, these are my friends. The hell you mean? Hell you mean these your friends? This is reality. This is reality. You know, we're going to go to the next picture. Because they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Now, this little brother here, crying, seeing the death and destruction of Hurricane Katrina right before his little eyes, shook his world to the core. And he's crying. And ain't nobody patting him on the back saying it's going to be all right. He got to eat that. He got to eat that. This is trauma. Now, I remember when I was a little boy growing up in Philly and the move bomb thing happened, and I'm seeing that on TV.
Yes, I remember that.
And I'm like, damn, I'm seeing the people trying to come out the house and the police shooting their ass to go back in the house.
Yes, I seen that.
And I'm looking and I can see children too.
Yep, all of
and
that.
And then I hear the black man that was mayor, Wilson Good, come on TV and say, I'll do it again.
Ain't that something? And nobody took care of him. Somebody should have shot him in his head in his sleep. But nobody took care of him.
Nobody.
We let stuff, see, this is what we do. We let stuff go like that. When black folk go against black folk, we let that stuff go. We got a mayor, we got a governor here that's running in North Carolina, right? Coon, okay? Big old coon. White folk love him. Anytime white folk love you, that means you're safe. They're not even threatened by you. Exactly. He's very dangerous for black folk. He should never make it to that seat. Never. Because when they do come, we can't even trust the black ones that they got our back. Those type should be dealt with immediately. He should have never been able to qualify in that primary. But we don't do anything about it. When we see them coons, we do nothing about it. That's why that baby crying like that. No hope. No. Ain't no hope. It's no hope. They've gotten black folks so down and low right now. It's at a point that is just disgusting. We won't fight. We won't stand. We won't, protect each other. We won't service each other. We won't even buy from each other. That's what happens when you allow people to educate you that don't like you. They'll teach you how to hate you. They'll teach you how you ain't nothing but a piece of dookie. And we'll begin to believe it. And we won't even believe that we are the true chosen because they didn't tell you you were. That's the disgusting part about it. And then when we do have a militia, we'll go against him. That was trying at least. Now what you got? Nothing. We didn't even protect the one we had, who was at least trying. The one we had, what we do? We talked about it. We dogged them out because that's what we're taught. We're taught to dog our own out. If you see somebody trying to help you, you'll get on there and join the bandwagon and you'll dog them out and leave them out to dry. Won't protect the one that's at least trying to free you, just trying to give you some ideas. This show right here should be packed. Black folks scared. That's the sad part about it. But you'll have coons on here that's talking against black folk who got 100,000, 1 million people following them. That's mental illness. But when you're talking about black folk being free, you got 12, 20 people, 30 people, 100 people. That's what's wrong with us. So you think we're going to get free with 6 people, with 100 people?
Mm.
I rest my mic.
Mm.
It's sad.
Very
It's
sad.
disgusting. It makes me sick to my stomach. It makes me very angry right now. Very angry. Because you have Black folk ready to fight. I'm ready to be free. I'm ready to be free. But
That's
most
right.
Black folk, when we talk like this, Maurice, what they do, they run. They run. They run. They asses wanna. They love. I am convinced they love to be slaves. They love to wait for master to get him a crumb. I don't need your damn crumbs. I can get my own, and it won't be a crumb. Trust that. I'll build my own table, and I'll take my money away from you, and you're gonna beg me. You're gonna beg to come sit at my table. That's the only way black folks gonna be free. Take your money from them and build your own. But we won't do it. We won't start. You gotta start from somewhere. We talk about building. They say, but you get all excuses why we can't do it. Build, come together, pull your monies together, build every block, have a mom and pop store, and we support that store. And you got Black folk going to the Chinese shop. When you got a Black man right there at the corner, and you'll walk past his shop and go to the Chinese man shop. Shame on you. You don't want to be free. You're not tired of these crackers kicking your asses. You're not tired of them killing your babies. You're not tired of them putting your men in jail, taking your jobs, giving it to the immigrants. You think it ain't gonna happen to you, Black folk? Trust and believe it's coming. Oh, that's coming. Your ass is gonna be picking them damn strawberries out there. That's what they got in store for you. Go ahead. I'm done. Boy, I'm telling you. Boy, I swear, we won't even boycott Tyson. We'll sit up there still. I bet y'all asses bought some Tyson chicken today, didn't you? Just saying. You won't even boycott to show these corporations. You mess with us, we coming. They ain't scared to mess with Black folk. We can say what we want. We have Black folks saying what they want. Kundus, okay? Kundus Owens. We got her saying what she want, right? And don't nobody say nothing. We don't handle that. You got this governor. He calling out Black. When you hear him talk, I can't stand it. I have to turn the TV off. Them crackers love him. He's not being dealt with. He should be dealt with. When first time you hear a Black person, just like the Jews, you come out against the Jews, what happened? You die. Kyle Rittenhouse, you come against them crackers, you gonna march with Black folk, you gonna die, right? Killed 3, shot 3, 2 died, and walked.
Yeah.
But we won't do nothing to these coons that talk bad about Black folk. They can say whatever they want. Facebook don't do nothing. YouTube won't say nothing. But as soon as you talk about them crackers and Jews, you blocked. You in jail for 20 days. I don't give a damn about your platform. I'm gonna say what I want to say. I didn't been blocked before. Oh well. But this freedom of speech, we won't even put a lawsuit on their asses when they turn around and block us for freedom of speech. We have freedom of speech, but you're gonna tell me it goes against your community guidelines. The hell with your community. Everything I say gonna go against your community guidelines because I'm Black. And I'm gonna talk about your ass. And I'm gonna pull you into the limelight, hold you accountable, but you mad. Nobody have time for this. Where's the lawyers at to help us to be free? We should be having civil rights cases right now. We should be a lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit for all of what we see and what's going on with these migrants. They getting their money they ain't never gave Black folk, and you won't file a lawsuit for us? Their asses need to be debarred. When you take the law thing away from them? You need to unlaw them. How about that? Take the little license away. They ain't doing nothing with it. NAACP close them down. Because what they doing for Black people? Please. Ain't nobody got time for them. Y'all talk about y'all ass. Y'all gonna burn. Y'all be in a strawberry patch. Go ahead. Pick your strawberry. Pick your little string beans. That's where your ass is going. Because then migrants coming. Think they ain't? Biden already told them. Approving for home loans, approving for jobs, approving for everything. And they having job fairs and they ain't even inviting your Black ass. And you the one here in the country need a job and can't get one. But then migrants coming and ain't no lawsuits being fired. And you still ain't ready to fight? Oh, okay. You want to be hungry. Okay, go ahead with your bad self. Go ahead on with your bad self. You got this. I'm gonna try to shut up now. Go ahead.
No, you all right. You all right. We are out of time. So we're going to have to go move the closing comments. Doc had to go, but we're going to go ahead and move the closing comments, and hopefully we'll finish this next week. Hopefully, if we can get some time to come on prior to next week, we can get Sister Cassie back, and we can continue this, because I really want to get to all the steps. So we talked about the first step is knowing who you are. Knowing who you are and accepting that and loving that. Because once you know who you are, you accept that, you love that, you'll defend that. You will defend that. So, this is, we're going to have to continue this again. But that is the first step. Sister Cassie, you want to go ahead with your closing comments?
Well, I think I already have my closing comments. I'm just saying, it's time for us to do something. These Black folk that's sitting up here cooning around, we need to start handling them. But in the meantime, we got to come pool our monies together and do something. This stuff is getting out of hand. We need lawsuits filed across the board. And we got people with degrees that won't even do anything. Your amendment, what's the 13th, 14th Amendment? Said we're not even supposed to look like we were enslaved. Mm-hmm. We have laws on the book that they won't even hold. They won't even hold on to. They won't even use it for us. So they gave you a hate crime bill, they wouldn't use it. They would use it for everybody else, but you. Just what they doing now. The civil rights bill we have, who they using it for? Everybody else but you. Mm-hmm. And we don't even say nothing. We just so quiet and we just so peaceful. We just go along with everything they do and say, don't we? We don't want to put up a fuss, because then we're gonna make white folk angry. And then they're gonna really cut your food off and your air and your water, okay? Mm-hmm. So you just be a good little nigga and sit in the corner and be quiet. Okay, yes, massa. That's what we're doing. We're not even thinking about fighting. What you mean fighting? Fight what? Fight massa? You mean me? Fight massa? We don't die. Well, you're dying anyway, dummy. You didn't recognize that? You're dying anyway for doing nothing. So if you're going to at least die, if you're going to die for something, die for freedom, die for revolution, die for change. We're not holding our Black leaders accountable. We still keep putting the same people in office, the whole Black caucus. Not one of them is doing anything about what's going on in the Black community. Not one. Just like they turn their head, don't see the macro, they turn, ooh, ain't nothing to see over here. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, why you keep voting them in? Vote their asses out. What's going on here? We keep doing the same stuff over and over, not learning. Just now they got Candace, now you see where she's talking Black. How many of y'all gonna fall for that? She will never be invited to the barbecue. But how many Black folks? Oh, she sounded like she Black. Oh, what the hell? What's wrong? Come on now. When you hear a person, Candace has dogged us for 10 years. Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden they're using her. They didn't pay that girl. They didn't pay that woman. They paying entertainers. They paying the people with the most sites, with the most people. They're paying them to speak good about the Democratic Party. And y'all gonna fall for it again. I guarantee you some people still gonna vote for Biden. That man who did the worst thing to Black folk. Y'all not ready for change. Y'all not ready to fight. Y'all not ready to die for change. That's how I know you're not ready to do nothing, and you ain't gonna do nothing. You're gonna talk, and do absolutely nothing. And then when they come after you, you're gonna stop praying. When God told you to fight, and you're gonna die. 2/3 are going to die. I rest my mic.
Awesome. Thank you, Sister Cassie. Brother Isaiah, your closing comments? Brother Isaiah?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. You guys did a show about what's going on in America, what can happen to America a while back with Sister Cassie. I saw it on YouTube, but I'm just gonna expand on that and try to wrap it back around to what we're talking about today. Don't worry about white folks, man. So they know they're on their way out. They're producing way below the minimum that is necessary to maintain a population. There's like 0.09 to 1.1. To maintain a population, you need 2.1 or better. and with the crack epidemic going on with them, with the meth epidemic going on with them, even the pandemic going on with them, in regard to the gasoline, this is devastating to their base, their population worldwide. And if you're looking at Islam in this period of time we call the Arab Spring, it's not going anywhere. The Arab Spring is here, getting stronger by the day. White folks are scared. They're running. They're being killed. 86,000 white folks died in South Africa because they were killed. You understand what I'm telling you? The most beloved man and woman is the black man and woman. The most hated man and woman is the white man and woman. Hate is a energy in the negative of ways that will stunt your growth spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. It is an energy that will destroy itself and those who partake in it. And I think overall, as Gaddafi said, that the black man in Africa, not only at the four corners of the world, but the continent, we're going to take over. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Europe is broke. White folks ain't got the power that they used to have. They're all up in the Middle East trying to get up in there and do what they can against the Houthis and Hamas. They can't. We don't have that kind of power anymore. You know what I mean? No, let me tell you. White folks don't have that kind of power anymore. They lost it in Egypt. They lost it in Greece and Rome. Now they've lost it now. And that is, can you imagine the mental anguish that white folks are discovering that they're not white? They're not European, they're not Caucasian, they're not Aryan, they're not fucking Jews. Can you imagine the mental anguish that is going on in their mind? They are killing each other and themselves because of the lies and deceit that they have been living under, that they've been taught by their parents and great grandparents, great 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 grandparents going back 150 years, really back to the 1880s. You know what I mean? So, I am a firm believer that the world is fading back to black. There's no if, there's no and, there's no buts. And like I said on the last time I was on the show, Brother Muhammad, that the Middle East, the Arab nation, is going to come out, and this is my prediction, and say that the real Jews have always been black, will always be black, and these fake ass Jews, you got to get the fuck up out of here because you don't belong. Gamal Nasser said, what did he say? Gamal Nasser said, the Middle East will never know peace ever again because the Jews left here black and came back white.
That's right.
And there's another brother. Yeah, and there's another brother. I can't remember verbatim, but he's saying that Trump ain't got no motherfucking right to be putting nothing in Jerusalem, no motherfucking where. His son Jared Kushner ain't no motherfucking Jew. I'm just ad-libbing. And the fact that the Jews have always been brown and black skinned. So my prediction is still the same. The other thing, what we just talked about, Brother Muhammad, is that America is going to be, hey, get your ass in the room. Fuck all that shit. Get your ass in the room. Jacob.
Oh my God.
Jacob. Betsy.
Boy, you cuss out in a minute.
Well, yeah, you know how that goes. I had to say it in English so y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. Get that loud, no keep the ningún loud, whatever. But yeah, but like we were just talking about, Brother Muhammad, they are going to, and this is another prediction. There's going to be a major fucking earthquake in America. That's going to force America to turn within itself, not on itself, but turn to focus in on itself. We got too much shit going on outside of our country that we ain't fixing within our country. the Madrid fault did 1 million square miles of damage in 1811, 1812. The one in San Francisco did 50,000 square feet of damage, 50,000 square miles of damage, excuse me. The one in 1811, 1812 in the Madrid fault, yeah, did 1 million square miles of damage. And they got nuclear power plants all up on it, not only on the fault line, but not too far from it. So with all that being said, I really see the world fading back to black. There's no other choice. The white man has put us in danger, turned the world upside down, made good, bad, bad, good, love, hate, hate, love, and all of that. And you might want to check me out on this one. On April the 8th, there's going to be a what do you call it, where the moon is covered and something like that.
Eclipse.
I heard. Now, quote me on this. I heard that east is west and west is east now, right? Have you heard that?
Ain't no telling, but I've heard that too. I've heard it.
But every now and then, I don't know what the period of time is, the earth changes its axis where the north becomes south, and the south becomes north, and the east becomes west, and west becomes east. That's a very powerful thing because it changes a whole lot.
What's getting ready to happen is changing a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's getting ready to change a whole lot of shifting in the earth.
Right. And that Aquarius age in which we're going in. But, we'll get to that the next time. But I just want to throw that out and let you know that, black folks are on the rise and white folks up out of here. They're scared to death. And I throw it back at you.
But you know what, Brother Maurice, even with that April 8th thing, you guys, let me just say, they went from 4 seconds to like 4 days to 4 weeks to 4 months. You guys, let me just tell y'all something. If y'all don't have extra water in y'all house already, if you guys do not have your leaf blowers and water, food, canned goods, can opener, if you guys don't have the basics, you're not going to make it, you guys. I don't know what y'all waiting on. We still got black folk that's not preparing for anything. Y'all need to prepare for what's coming. April 8th is going to be a tale of a whole lot of stuff. It's the start of a whole lot of stuff that's getting ready to be released on the earth, spiritually saying.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I want to go and thank all our audience that we have. I want to say welcome, Brother Bakari. Peace and blessings. We're glad you're here. I want to send out a peace and blessings. Welcome to Earth Angel 1105 Remix. We're glad that you made it. Let's see, Mr. Adolfi, peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome. Who else did I miss while we were gone? I think that's it. Brother Robert, assalamu alaikum. Welcome. Yep, that is it. This has been an awesome show, family. Awesome. As I said, Doc had to run, but we'll be back. Like I said, I'd like to finish this program. So if Sis Cassie, you got some free time during the week, let me know, and we can definitely get back into this. And as we always say, you kill the nigga in you, I'm gonna kill the nigga in me, and our God will reign supreme. We are black first. Today, tomorrow, and forever. Stay black. Stay black.
Peace, family.
Peace and blessings. Love y'all.
So you better get the message and get it straight. You're going to need some bridge work. It's simple as that. Because we're living in judgment. We're living in implementation.